In the picture framing industry, the words conservation and preservation are often used interchangeably, but their meanings are very different. Conservation involves professional diagnosis and corrective treatment by a scientific specialist, often a chemist or biologist, trained and experienced in all aspects of working with certain types of materials, artworks, and artifacts. Professional conservation serves to repair damage and deterioration, improving the longevity and the appearance of an item. The treatments could involve careful cleaning to remove stains or soiling accumulated over time. Consolidation may be necessary to slow down the deterioration of the original materials or to strengthen the substrate. Repairs may be needed for tears or punctures. Wrinkles and creases may be flattened for cosmetic improvement of appearance. Conservation treatments involve sophisticated mechanical procedures using various tools, as well as procedures using solvents, paints, inks, and other chemistry that could cause greater harm if misused. So, experimentation on irreplaceable customers' property is to be avoided. Preservation, on the other hand, is preventive rather than corrective, and this can be accomplished through professional picture framing using specialized methods and materials. Preservation framing creates a protective environment and causes minimal changes to the items framed. The frame needs to be a durable enclosure made of high quality, chemically inert internal materials, which would not react within the closed environment of the frame. Also, non invasive methods assure minimal changes to the items that are framed. Attachment provisions should be secure yet non invasive and reversible, so most adhesives should not be used in direct contact. Permanent mounting would generally be unacceptable for preservation framing. Preservation framing protects an item from changes inside the frame, and it also provides limited protection from changes caused by external influences, such as light, moisture, and rapid or radical changes of temperature and humidity. At least 97% of ultraviolet radiation should be filtered out by the glass or acrylic glazing. Tight fitting and finishing assures the entire assembly can slowly adapt to changing ambient conditions, but it's important to keep out dirt, insects, and air pollution as much as possible. Sometimes the frame should be completely sealed to create a true microclimate, but this requires extra maintenance and it's usually unnecessary for framing most items displayed in typical climate controlled conditions. Just as professional conservation requires specialized training, so does preservation framing. Books and educational classes are available on the methods and materials involved. Preservation does not always involve framing. Storage may be more appropriate, especially for items that are very susceptible to damage from light and other anticipated hazards of display. In this case, maybe a high quality digital reproduction can be framed instead, which would eliminate the preservation concerns. And then the original can be stored in a suitable container in a clean, dry, climate controlled environment. For storage, use a durable, tightly closed container made of chemically stable, inert materials. Depending on the item, the storage container might also require special padding or support materials around the item. So, how do we know when an item is worthy of preservation framing or professional conservation? That usually is a matter of value, and there are several kinds of value. Monetary value refers to money, such as insurance or retail value. This type of value is most easily determined by appraisal or by comparing sales of similar items. Sentimental value is about personal significance, and it may have nothing to do with money. For example, heirlooms or personal collectibles may have little or no monetary value, but could be priceless to their owners. This type of value may be difficult or impossible to compensate in the event of damage or loss, so extreme care and caution are advised when working with these items. Cultural, historic, or religious value refers to an item's significance to a particular group or community. For example, the items displayed in an historical society or in a museum could have significant cultural value. Of course, all types of value can increase or decrease over time according to variations in an item's significance, condition, or demand. Now that we've discussed the differences between conservation and preservation, let's distinguish between framers and conservators. Framers usually are self educated or mentored by others who are also self educated but have the benefit of experience. Also, most framers have studied a number of framing books and attended some seminars, but there are no requirements for advanced framing education or professional training. Framing credentials are available for those who choose to earn them, but they're not required. As a result, there's wide disparity of qualifications among picture framers. Conservators generally are university educated scientists who have also acquired special training through mentoring or apprenticeship with established professionals in their chosen conservation specialties. Conservators often specialize in certain materials such as paper, textiles, wood, leather, and so on. And some conservators specialize in certain types of art, such as multimedia graphics, watercolors, pastels, or paintings on canvas. Due to the extensive education and training necessary to become a professional conservator, nearly all of them are well qualified in their specialties. Customers often ask framers to perform treatments that could damage or destroy their irreplaceable items. It may be tempting to do as they ask, but keep in mind that failed treatments can worsen the existing damage or, in some cases, result in complete destruction. The effects of ill advised chemical treatments, for example, might not show up for years. Recognizing the hazards of experimentation, we should take no chances with customers' property, but involve professional conservators instead. Customers often say, just do what you can, because they want to save money, of course. But they probably don't realize the differences between professional conservation treatment and a framer's experimentation. They may not realize the risk of further damage or destruction that could be involved. We want to build customer loyalty and save them money. And we want to earn extra profit by providing extra services too. But we must realize the risk of trouble and responsibility for the considerable expense of correcting a failed treatment. Insurance coverage may not be available for damage we cause as framers, so how would a framer compensate the customer, especially for an item of high sentimental value? When you're asked to frame an item that may benefit from conservation treatment, here are some suggestions about how to recommend assessment and possible conservation treatment. First, tell the customer what you know about the issues. Existing deterioration probably will not stay the same, but will continue to worsen over time. Conservation treatment not only improves the appearance of the item, but might also extend its longevity. Conservation treatment increases long term value, whether that would be monetary, sentimental, or cultural value. And without treatment, the value diminishes over time. To help customers understand the value of conservation work, refer them to credible sources of information, such as appropriate conservators or conservation organizations. Museums in your region can often provide information as well. Help customers understand the condition of their items by providing a framer's condition report to describe the known issues. While this could not be considered a professional assessment or recommendation of treatment, it can serve as a starting point in the process. Specifically, describe the nature and location of damage and deterioration in the condition report and photograph details or make drawings to illustrate. Then send an inquiry to a conservator with some questions like, would framing cause more harm to the item? Would existing deterioration or damage worsen over time? How would conservation treatment improve the item? If the conservator believes the treatment may be advised, he or she would probably want to perform a formal assessment of the item for a fee, and the item would have to be shipped. In return for the assessment fee, the conservator usually will provide a professional condition report, written recommendations for treatment, an estimate of the cost, and an estimate of the time required for the treatment. The customer would be responsible for all the costs, of course, and we should keep the customer informed throughout the process. When conservation work is recommended, Provide the customer as much information as possible. Especially, recommend conservators by name and describe their qualifications. Offer to act as an agent for the customer's convenience, or if the owner prefers to work directly with the conservator, provide contact information. Why should we, as picture framers, become involved in the conservation process? First, it is a way for us to provide valuable services to our customers, which may result in additional business and referrals to new customers. Professional conservators work with museums and art industry professionals and may prefer not to work directly with consumers. In that case, the framer can serve as a useful agent for the conservator as well as for the customer. And let us not forget the benefit of added revenue, charged for preparing the framer's condition report, especially if photos and drawings are involved. Paid time is also needed to research, locate, and communicate with suitable conservators. And then there is the packing, shipping, and handling of the item throughout the process, all of which involves paid time. The conservator may charge the customer directly, or some conservators offer a discount or a finder's fee to cooperating framers. Maybe the owner's insurance would cover loss by some causes, and conservators generally have insurance to cover items in their possession, but it's a good idea to verify coverage throughout the process. In any case, avoid problems by obtaining the owner's written approval and permission for all of the work with clear understanding about the costs and the time involved. Keep copies of all documentation and correspondence. A waiver of responsibility may be advised to limit your liability while the item is out of your hands, in the event of shipping damage or theft, for example. As you can see, there are distinct differences between conservation and preservation, and both are worthy topics. Offering to obtain conservation treatment can be a valuable service for customers. Offering preservation framing can help to preserve and protect customers' valuables. These specialties can build customer loyalty and add well-earned profit to your custom framing business.